covered call flows before, and call flows obviously are a really important way of uh, making sure you tell smartphone what to do when a new call comes in. How do we want to handle it when someone calls you? But another part of the flow engine is actually the SMS element, and that's something we see people miss all the time when they're setting this up. They go ahead and they create a call flow, but they forget to create an SMS flow. So I just wanted to remind everybody that that's a really important part of it, of how you manage inbound communication inside of smartphone. As you can see here, I'm in the call flows section of the admin part of smartphone. And these are, one of the great things about smartphone is you can have uh, a whole bunch of different call flows set up the way you want. And you can have different numbers assigned to different call flows. You can have multiple numbers assigned to one specific flow that kind of details how, a lot of the numbers are supposed to work. Great example is if you've got a huge amount of tracking numbers you're using for different marketing and you want them to all work the same way, you can point them all to a call flow. Or, of course, you can have different ones set up for different departments, different people, and different situations like holidays, etc. But you mustn't forget the SMS part of the call flow as well. The SMS part, which tells the system what happens when someone texts the number that is assigned to this flow, so that you can see it in smartphone, see it in your specific CRM, and you can action it accordingly. And you can see here on the different call flows, you've got the edit call flow button or create, but also the create SMS flow. Now of course, this is really super basic and super simple, but we see people get it wrong all the time or forget to do it. If you don't have an SMS flow configured, we don't know what to do when someone sends a text to one of the numbers assigned to this flow. Now, the SMS flows are even simpler than, and I'll just pick, you know what, I'm just going to create a new flow probably, or does it really matter? I'll create a quickly new one called demo, just so I don't know which flows are here that I don't want to kind of screw up. The call flows, which is the core one, quite complex, lots of things in here. But the SMS flow, which is how we deal with text messages, is a lot more streamlined, and you only have a couple options, and really there's only a couple that we see people use on a regular basis. Of course, just like with the call flows, what to do when someone calls you, you can use the business hours applet to determine what happens when you're open and when you're closed, right? You can make sure that during the period of time when your office is open, it does one thing, and during maybe the time when you're closed, it's going to send an automatic reply and let people know that, as well as saving the message. You've got those options when you're using the business hours applet. But probably the most common thing that we see is simply the SMS inbox. When you have an SMS inbox, you're essentially telling smartphone which user or which team are we going to send this text message to, so they have visibility to, of that text message. So in this case, if I've got user, I can select one of the individual users. But if I decide to do a team, I will select the different teams that I have available to me. And that's probably if I had to pick the most common SMS flow, it's going to be just a specific SMS inbox, which tells you to send the text message to a specific user or a team. Now, you can schedule activate other parts of this, sending specific notifications or triggering a webhook if you want to send a notification somewhere else, of course. And you do have slightly more complex versions with the save and reply in the menu, but this is definitely the most common we see. Now, why does this matter? It matters very much because if you do not have this set up and you don't have the message going to either a user or your team, the message isn't going to get set up, isn't going to be visible inside the different inboxes you're in, whether it's your own personal one here or if you are a part of a team in smartphone in that team inbox. So again, very simple thing, but something we see people get wrong a lot. Hey, I'm not getting my text messages. Well, that's usually the culprit, and it's just a good reminder of that.